Okay, working our way down the page, we're on page 139 still. The directions say use the shift pattern to solve each multiplication. Check to see if the generalization works. So they're saying, again, there's two ways of solving this. We could ignore the decimals, multiply as if they're whole numbers, count the number of decimals, and then place the number of decimals in our product. Or we could use the shifting pattern where we basically break apart our multiplication sentence into three different factors and create this long multiplication chain and use our shift patterns. The strategy that works, I think, the best after teaching this for many years is going with the generalization rule, counting the number of decimal places, counting the number of decimal places, and solving basically, okay? So let's try it out. I'll walk you through how I solve these. And then again, there's two different ways of solving them. You're welcome to try definitely both and whatever way works best for you. It's your choice, but here's how I'm going to walk you through them. So first one is 2/10 times 4/10, and it's written vertically, and we can easily solve that. Not all multiplication problems need to be set up like this because we can easily do this with our place value understanding. So decimal times a decimal here, we're going to ignore the decimals, and when we ignore the decimals, we're looking at 2 times 4. Do you see that? What's 2 times 4, everyone? It is 8. So we're going to put 8 in our answer. And again, with these, I leave a little bit of room. I don't put 8 right next to the equal sign for these because I know we're going to be doing maybe a little work over here. Okay, next step is we're going to count the number of decimal places total in our factors. 2/10 has how many decimal places? Let's underline 1 decimal place. How many decimal places are there in 4/10? 1. How many decimal places does there need to be in our product? Well, 1 plus 1 decimal place, there's 2 decimal places over here. How many decimal places needs to be over here in our product? 2, I'm going to put little 2's above to remind us. Let's start all the way to the right. So we're going to underline the digit 8. That's 1 place value. I don't have any other digits, so what are we going to add in order to create place values? Zeros. We're going to add another 0 and underline it. How many decimal places do we have now? 2. So we can go in with our next step of adding the decimal and adding a 0 in our 1 spot to hold its place value and to tell our reader this is a number that's less than 1 whole. And we have our answer of 8/100. 2 decimal places over here, 2 decimal places over here. Let's try it with another one, number 37, 2/10 times 4/100. Again, ignoring the decimals and ignoring the zeros. What's 2 times 4? It is 8. I'm going to write it all the way over here, and you'll see why. So should you. Let's count the total amount of decimal places in our factors. For 2/10 times 4/100, what's the total amount of decimal places? 3. 1, 2, 3, and I have them all underlined, so should you. How many decimal places in our product? 3. Let's put a little 3 above so we know. Let's start with the 8. Let's underline it. There's no other digits in our number, so we're going to work our way over, and we're going to be adding zeros to hold the place values. So I'm going to add another 0 and underline it. That's 2 decimal places. We need another 0. 1, 2, 3 decimal places. We're good then. We add in the decimal and add in a 0 in the 1 spot. How do we say this number out loud? 8,000. Oops, I almost tricked you guys. Yep, the 8 is in the thousand spot. Keep going. Let's try. Can you do 38 on your own? 2 times 4/100. Go ahead and try it. How many decimal places in our factors? 1. How many decimal places in our answer? 1. So we add in a 0 and a decimal to get 8/10. Did you get that? Great. The underlining and the counting and even writing the numbers nice and small up top may definitely help you. Okay, and then 39, 2/100 times 4/10. Go ahead and try it. underline the place values, count them, and then solve. Well, there's 3 total decimal places in our factors. There needs to be 3 decimal places in our answer, and we get 8 thousandths as our answer. Okay, numbers 40 through 47, they're set up a little bit differently, but we're going to follow the same procedure over here. 4 tenths times 6. Again, underline the decimal places in our factors. There's 1 over here. There's 1 for 4 tenths times 6. We're going to multiply and ignore that decimal. So 4 times 6 is 24. There's 1 decimal place in our factors. There needs to be 1 decimal place in our product. I'm going to start all the way over on the right. Start with our digit 4 and underline that. That's 1 decimal place. So then we add in our decimal in front of it. 2 and 4 tenths has 1 decimal place. That is the answer. Can you complete 41 through 47 and get them all correct? Underline, solve, looking at them as if they're whole numbers. Number of decimal places up here needs to be the same amount of decimal places down here.